Okay.
guys, welcome.
All right,
Round two.
guys. So, welcome to Gamer Guardians podcast. I'm your host, Danny Martinez, the Drunken Guardian. I am very sorry we had some technical difficulties. This is episode 92 of the podcast, and today we got Randy the Ragnarok, Kevin, Boneless Bones, and Danny, the Sober Guardian, and the Puggle over
His
there,
boneless toes.
his boneless toes. Nice.
You barely have pants on.
So, today we got a pretty good, interesting. Oh, there's my dog.
What the
We
what the
got
dog do?
we got a pretty good, interesting episode today. Talking about some good industry stuff right now. But first, we get into some really quick articles that we could talk about. Last episode, we talked about me and Randy. It was just us. We talked about multiverses and our impressions of it and stuff. How excited we were, kind of like a Smash Brothers type game. And now they have released a leak, which apparently is a bunch of new characters that they might possibly have. It's possibly because they just see a lot of like data files and stuff where they data mined the game, and this is what they found. They found characters for Ben 10, Cromulon from Rick and Morty. I have no idea who that is, even though I love that
The
show.
planet head.
Oh,
the
is it?
yellow
Oh, okay,
head,
okay.
yeah.
Daenerys Targaryen, Emmett from Back to the Future,
Doc Brown.
Attic
Doc Brown,
motherfucking
pretty
Chuck.
much. Red
That's
Flintstone, Gandalf, Gizmo, and Stripe. It says it both together, so I'm wondering if they're gonna both play
Ice
together or something.
climbers.
Ice Climber style. Godzilla, Harry Potter, Johnny Bravo, King Kong, LeBron James. I'm upset they don't have Michael Jordan.
LeBron James.
Legolas, Legolas, Mad Max, Marvin the Martian, Morty, Neo from the Matrix, Nubia, Danny, Nubia, DC Comics. Doesn't sound familiar to me. Raven from Teen Titans, I think that's cool. Rick Sanchez, Ron Weasley, Scorpion, and Sub-Zero from Mortal Kombat. The Hound, that's from the Game of Thrones as well, and the Joker. And a little bit on that, they also have taunts that they found for Black Adam and Godzilla. I don't know how there's a taunt for Godzilla and they could determine what that's from, but sure, okay. So those are the things that they leaked so far. I'm mad that they don't have Animaniacs in there, like Randy. Like at least just have the Animaniacs there in general. I don't even care if they did the Ice
It's
Climber
literally
stuff.
the Warner
Especially when they
Brothers at
tried-
that point.
I know, especially when they tried to reboot the series.
Yeah, you would think that they want to push that a little bit more, right?
I haven't
'Cause,
watched that.
Again, it is the Warner Bros. And Dot.
That's a good one.
I'm mad that Johnny Bravo wasn't part of like the main roster, like the starting off.
Well, those might. You don't know what's gonna be them. Oh, I know what you mean. The first few.
Yeah.
Starting the game. You think they'll be unlockables or they just be DLC?
Probably DLC. I feel like some of them are going to be free DLC and others are going to be like pay to have.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah.
I can see that.
Like
I hope
the bigger names are going to be like probably from Mortal Kombat, Joker, fucking I literally just saw one right now. Whatever those. Oh, and Neo, like those are probably going to be some that you have to buy.
Nah, I'm Rick and Morty. Most likely they're gonna do that.
Oh, of course.
I bet you they'll
And
do
they're
the Mortal Kombat ones like paid
Mortal Kombat's gonna be the paid one.
Paid.
because of the whole
same way they
license
did.
thing with that.
Yeah, the same way they
Johnny
did, like,
Bravo better be
Street
free.
Fighter version of it. I can see Bravo being free. Those are
Yeah.
the core. Like, I'm surprised they don't have what was it? The Toonami guy?
Tom?
Tom, yeah.
he
That'd
one of
be
them?
really cool. But
Well, they have all the other Cartoon Network lineups, so it might as well be Warner Brothers.
I would
I
have
don't
wished they put. Oh, they could have put Courage.
As the Cartoon Network one.
Or Eustace.
Yeah,
Eustace.
no, Muriel.
Is it? Yeah.
Muriel.
Little Muriel.
Rest in peace. The voice actress for her died.
Yeah,
Yeah.
rest in peace, the things I do for love.
Captain Planet with his little short shorts.
No,
You know?
Oh man, I could. I don't know why I just pictured the opposite of Pokemon. It would be Captain Planet, and then he summons the Planeteers.
Oh, that'd be pretty interesting.
what the fuck is Heart doing? Giving him health, or is it just like stunning?
It's a health one. He's a health. He's a health thing. Yeah.
Heart.
Heart. If you don't get your goofy ass,
Art was OD. Art was fucking had mind control and shit. They forgot about
Yeah,
that.
right. You talk to the animals.
Hey,
Mhm.
you laugh at him now until you're getting mauled by one of his fucking pets.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Laugh now, cry later. Something on you
Fucking
with a rabbit.
SWAT Cats? That was Cartoon Network,
Ooh,
wasn't it?
Yeah.
was it? Yeah, it was.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's-
Yeah, it was.
yeah.
Yeah. Oh man, that's good. So yeah, just a quick thing. That's interesting, kind of cool. I'm gonna play this game. I really want to play this game
You
now.
you know, it's funny when I saw the leak on Twitter, they had static, and I was like, "Ooh, that would
Oh.
that would be nice."
So yeah,
Like,
actually,
that's
yeah. So Kevin and Danny, like, what are your thoughts on the game in general? Since we got you guys here now.
I mean, it looks interesting. I've seen a lot of. Oh, you go first if you want. 'cause you're
no,
the
you
fighting
can
game.
go first.
No, you go.
No, I can go last. I can go last.
I like the concept of what they're doing to try to make it a little different from Smash because obviously that's going to be the straight up comparison. You know,
Mhm.
I like what they're doing with the gameplay and everything, and because the Cartoon Network felt super floaty and slow, and
Mhm.
so they sped it up a little bit so you can actually do combos and stuff. Couldn't really do combos.
Oh,
in
you mean the
one.
Nickelodeon one?
Yeah,
Yeah.
so it's kind of bombing for that for me because it just feels really, it feels rough.
Mhm.
This again is not super move based. Like you don't see people just throwing a bunch of crazy. Because that's what the Nickelodeon ones. Everybody's just throwing, is just using their specials all day. That's all they do
Mhm.
instead of using combos and attacks. And this, you see them doing a lot of cool combos, trying to anyway.
They really
Um,
very much focused on 2-player co-op as well. Like a lot of their
Yeah.
moves are complementary to help
Yeah.
your teammate.
Yeah, everybody has one like most for the majority. They all have like one um teammate move, or something that either
Yeah.
buffs everybody or buffs yourself or does something like that.
hmm
Some obviously are more than others. Like they have that dog thing that can actually literally pull you from dying.
And
Same
there's
thing
no
for like
block. There's no block
There's no
button.
block.
there's
There's
no
only spot
Oh,
dodge.
sweet.
There's
there's
no
only
block.
I,
There's
I
only
always
dodge.
forget about that button.
There's
only dodge that they have, and you can only dodge uh 3 times in a row. Like you have like a dodge, or you have a dodge meter basically. So you can only
Mhm.
dodge a certain amount before you have to start over.
Mhm.
And when you dodge, the
And like
next dodge, it's a little less.
yeah,
Has less invincibility frames. So it's
yeah.
like
Mhm.
every dodge is less. Yeah.
Mhm.
So like I said, so and then you have to like either get attacked or attack to get the dodge up, to meet it back up,
Mhm.
so you can have a little bit more.
So
And the
Kevin,
jumping is really interesting too because like if you get you have two double jumps. You have two jumps. You have a jump and then a double jump, right? So
And to
if you
and a
get
recovery
wall
from.
jump.
well, yeah, but if you get knocked in the air, that doesn't count as your jump. So you can jump from there if you get knocked in the air or move that pops you up in the air, and
Mhm.
then you double jump again. So there's a lot of like innovation for. I think it's too much to mod because I think it's like impossible to DI. You know, like it's some characters are like, oh, they're super heavy. They're gonna, you knock them far enough, you just go up. You can't get back. Like this is,
Mhm.
it's almost, it's impossible to get knocked down that far without dying, and then you can always get back.
Mhm.
If you touch the ledge, it restarts because again, there's no
Wait,
ledge.
Danny,
It's
I just want to know how you like the game.
well, I'm just saying, these are the things that I find to be disappointing. Like these are the things that make
This
or
is
break
disappointing?
a little bit because it's like it's the defeats the purpose of like you have to hit them with a strong move instead of having strategy. Like there's a lot of like strategy in Smash that you if you go out there, you go attack them, you can, you jump after them to attack them and to stop them from being able to get back to the ledge. That's part of strategy when you're playing Smash. That just there is no, you can't do that. You just gotta wait for them basically to get back, and when they get back, you have to hit them again. It's just like too much way to get back. Because as soon as you touch the wall, it resets your jump and it resets your move because you're allowed to do 2 moves in the air, any 2 moves.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So Kevin, what are your thoughts on the game?
I like how it looks. It looks very it looks like I would say a heavier Smash because Smash some of the characters that are like very light. So it's like everybody's well balanced. Like nobody's made of paper and like smack them and then they disappear. Um, I've seen like so many Shaggy combos. It's crazy. I like that they made a meme a fucking character.
Mhm.
You know, it's like one of those things that I've always
Remember the meme started the whole game in the first place.
It did. It
Yeah.
definitely did. And that's the reason why, like, when we saw Shaggy power up, we was like, we got Ultra Instinct Shaggy.
Yeah.
I just wanted him with like the Vegeta gloves as a costume, and I was like, oh, I'm in just sheer bliss. The game looks funny. I immediately fell in love once I saw Batman. I didn't really care for Harley Quinn, but it's like
Oh,
it
his
was
idol
a must.
animation.
Yeah, his idol animation is fucking cool.
He just turns into a silhouette from the animated series.
With the
So you know
lightning
how
and
in the
everything.
intro the lightning like cracks in the back and like you see just a silhouette of Batman at the top of the building?
Okay.
That's his idle animation. Like when you don't move, like he just does that.
That's cool. Okay.
I like the game. What Dan said is true, but the game that I like that it's following, but it's not exact, is Age of Aether, which is like a Smash game, but it's like very very fast paced. Like you die in like 30 seconds if you're not paying attention, and it looks very very like flowy, like movement heavy, and I like that. I like that there's no block because then it would have made it would have been in like a rip off of Smash.
Mhm.
The spot dodge meter is really cool. The characters that they selected, even though like I question some of them, like who the fuck is like you think I'm gonna dunk on you with LeBron James? And be
Like
cool
literally.
about it. Like
It's
you're
gonna be the
literally gonna
cartoon version of it, and you guys are like to say, "Oh, I'm disappointed with Jordan," but I bet you money it's gonna be a skin.
A skin for LeBron?
Sure.
I can see that.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's a good point.
I can see that.
I mean,
No, no, no.
it's a basketball character, you know.
Yeah.
No. But I'm just saying, like, I'm like, why make LeBron a character? You know what I mean? Like that. Even though he's Warner Brothers, like because
Well,
of the
he's
movie.
more popular with people that age. Right now. Anybody's watching basketball right now, and our kids are playing that game at the same time. Know
True.
who LeBron James is gonna be a fan of LeBron James. If you put Jordan in there, it's just a bunch of older people who get the Space Jam reference and would appreciate it. And so,
Yeah,
No,
especially for this new generation, they're probably not going to get Michael Jordan.
yeah,
Other than us.
yeah,
yeah,
so I'm saying. So it's meant to shoot for the kids anyway, for the younger age of the younger generation anyway.
Mhm.
More correct, I should say.
I felt once they put the Looney Tune character, when they put Bugs Bunny in, I felt that it was either going to be LeBron or Jordan, and
Mhm.
I'm okay that it's not that I was like questioning it, like, oh, why would they have LeBron? But then when you start thinking about like the movie that came out, it's like it makes sense.
Yeah.
I
I'm
just
only
wanted them to
bitter.
put.
I'm just bitter about it because I'm old and I wanted Michael Jordan. But
Listen,
that's
if they make Yosemite Sam a character, I'm straight up
it.
straight up running with two fucking Smith and Westerns, blaming people. I
That's the
hope that
thing. Is like, how far are they gonna go with the Looney Tune aspect?
They
What
could
do you
go
mean?
pretty far, honestly.
I mean,
No,
but
because they
why?
have like a lot of people.
Yeah, there's so many different
Lots of
characters.
plenty. They got so
I'm not
far
saying
what
that.
they got. They just got Taz and Bugs, I think it
yeah,
is. I
What
mean,
I'm
you
saying
can
is
do
that.
Lola, you could do
Yeah, but that's what I'm
You would
saying.
like
Yosemite.
that, you fucking freak.
Oh
No,
yeah.
but that's kind of my point. Is you can't have way too like having like 100 characters for no reason, unless it's a free to play service.
I
Then
mean, Smash
different.
Brothers
But
got how
It
many
is a free to play
characters?
service, though.
it is 80, but not half. Really, like it'd be like having Smash, and it'd be like go, oh, we do Street Fighter, and we start doing every single fucking
I'm
character.
okay with 80 characters as long as they're each unique
It
and
has to.
they all
That's
game
what I'm saying.
style.
But it has to be diverse. Like if you're gonna do
Hmm
80 characters and you have the hard Warner Brothers, you can only do like 3, maybe 4 tops from each genre. That's it.
hmm
You know what I mean? Before you start getting more genres, and then like
yeah.
like if you're doing Looney Tunes already, you're doing the main one.
Well, I
Bugs.
mean,
Later on, you
the
do
thing
Daffy,
too,
but
though. But the thing too, though, is that apparently this kind of confused me a little bit. But when they like showed the characters, they have classes like assassin, bruiser,
yeah,
mage, support, tank, and all that shit. There's enough characters in the Looney Tunes universe to cover most of these classes. So if Bugs is a fucking mage and he's ranged, Gossamer, the red fuzzy beast,
Oh yeah.
hmm
the
yeah,
tank.
he could be a tank or a bruiser. Foghorn Leghorn, he could be a tank or a bruiser also. You know, fucking obviously
Again,
Yosemite Sam's
there's
gonna be ranged. There's
yes,
just like plenty of different things that could be there.
Yeah,
The
no,
same way that Tom and
again,
Jerry are working together, there could be fucking Sylvester and Tweety.
I think just
As a
Danny's just
skin,
talking
maybe?
about Danny's talking more just about brand variety,
I'm
not
not saying
necessarily
you,
the
Yeah.
yeah,
gameplay.
I'm not
Oh,
saying that
okay,
you,
okay.
of course, you can, like I said, you can make, see, like you said, there's all types of characters, of course, you can get them and put them into those categories, but I think you don't oversaturate it with one group because then it becomes, oh, this is just a Looney Tune game. Yeah,
Mhm.
it has like
Yeah.
20 Looney Tune characters,
I,
you
I,
know,
I,
and
I
that's
def-
not what they want to do. They want it to be the
diverse with characters.
super diverse. It's all star Warner Brother type thing. That's why it has the Matrix and Daenerys, and like it's super huge. And I don't think I think because of how many different categories they have to the realm with Warner Brothers, they can fucking just do 2 of each and keep it moving. You know, and
I
still have like 100 characters, and that
I still
that
Oh,
would be way
they
more
they could put Amber Heard into the game.
fun.
I like that Dan said that because I'm not shitting on Smash Bros for it, but the one franchise that they had too many fucking characters of was
Pokemon.
Fire Emblem. No, with Fire Emblem, they had like
Oh,
seven.
yeah.
They had like 7 fucking Fire Emblem characters come
Yeah.
out
You got
consistently,
Ike,
and
Marth,
Yeah.
Lucina, Roy.
Roy from
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah,
like Kamui. I'm like, bro, you have too many characters, like diverse. Like the only character that I felt that was like left field was fucking Sephiroth, and it was like not really left field because they
I
had
know.
Cloud,
But
but that was
Cloud, but having
uh
Cloud and Sephiroth to me was left field. I didn't see that coming at all.
no, wait, no, not even Sephiroth. Kazuya, he was like so out of the fucking
Yeah.
ballpark. Like that was, I mean, but they had Ryu and
And
Ken, but I'm
Terry?
like, and Terry. I mean,
Terry's
but
fucking weird to have in Smash,
Yeah, because
honestly.
Terry was a
Yeah,
Terry
Terry's the
was
weirdest
Terry was
one
a
because
useless
Terry's
class.
SNK.
Yeah, so like if I can understand having a Street Fighter, but then having Street Fighter and then fucking Tekken, you
and
know,
KOF
and then
and KOF.
KOF, like say, oh shit, okay, I get it. You just get in every genre fighting game
Yeah,
for
like
Mortal Kombat. Like,
yeah, and that's why like when I seen Sub Zero and Scorpion as like lead characters, I'm like,
yeah,
okay,
They are Warner
that makes
Brothers, technically.
they are. I just hope that they do the animated version of Sub Zero. I mean of Scorpion because that one was by far one of the coolest looking characters, and he's also voice acted by the same character that does Ragnar the Blood Edge in Blaze Blue. So I would love to
Mm.
see like
Oh, that's nice.
yeah, a lot of variety in characters. Like they can do like Dan said, 2 of each, and then keep it pushing. Then they can go like different genres. But I would like at least 10 of like each class, so that I have like variety of characters. Like I like the support. I like that Velma is a support character, and I also yeah.
there's 3 sorry, there's 3 classes, right? There's
Mhm,
So if they did 3 of each, it would be the limit. Like you have the tank, you have the mage, and you have the fighter. So
mhm.
3 of each genre would be enough. Over that, it's overkill to me.
Yeah,
You know,
I
because then you're gonna have why do you have 2 mages and a tank, like and whatever, like it just becomes
yeah.
unbalanced.
Yeah, it definitely would be unbalanced. But I would like them to like add like at least 2 more classes, even though it's like make those like like
Assassin.
But again, and
like
then I think that's later. I think if the
yeah,
game
no, of
succeeds,
course,
then you go, oh, we're gonna add we got a new class, assassin, and fucking and have all types of
Assassin's
crazy.
already there.
Well, how many what classes do they have right now?
Assassin, tank, bruiser, mage, ranged.
Oh, it's 5.
Hold on. I feel like I'm missing one. Oh, and support. Support being 6.
Okay, so I like I said, so 6 of every genre is the max you do. You know what I mean? You get that overall, and that's it. Like
what if it
Scooby Doo
what
gang, you have all of
So
them there.
all right, so we're going over time with here. Can we get your final thoughts before we move on?
Bat nipple skin for Batman, please.
No. Oh God.
It's the brave and the bold, right? That's what they're doing.
yeah.
No, they're doing
Brave-
animated series, aren't they? Or is it Brave and Bold?
yeah, Brave and Bold
Yeah, it's brave and bold. He looked
Oh,
bright
with the
blue and
cap. 'Cause
yeah.
no
Okay.
reason.
All right. So next article that we're gonna go over, something special just for Danny. It's pretty much just Norman Reedus. He was on Twitter and he actually, I think he accidentally leaked because I didn't think he'd mean to, that he is working on Death Stranding 2 with Kojima. So Kojima is working on Death Stranding 2, and the internet caught wind of it and went crazy. I don't know why, because I don't know who's really asking for a Death Stranding 2,
You.
but
You, yeah.
it's coming.
You literally have been on this
I
podcast like, I want a Death Stranding 2.
I
wanna
don't
walk
no
away.
what? Huh? What?
No, you were upset that they came out with director's cut because you said that they need to put more time into the sequel instead of just a remake of the game.
I agree.
Verbatim.
They need to change the game.
And that's what they're doing. Death Stranding 2.
They need to make it a game. Actually.
They need to make it a game. See, Danny makes a good point. They didn't make it a game because I don't want another fucking delivery service game. That's what I don't want. I enjoyed the stealth parts of the game and the action parts of the game as little as there was in it, but like,
and you believe that there should be a second game?
No.
Dan, just accept it. Just accept it. We know that you
Objection. Hearsay.
Overruled.
So, Danny, what do you think?
I knew there would be a sequel. Like it's not a surprise that it's a sequel.
You're really not surprised?
No, not at all. Okay, I'm not surprised the same way they made a sequel to Sonic. Sonic itself wasn't a good movie. If you didn't know what Sonic was, let's say you have no idea what Sonic was, Sonic's a horrible movie. It's a kid's movie, right? It's pure fan fiction. It's pure fan. What do you call it when people
fan service?
It's pure fan service. Like that movie.
Sonic 1?
Yeah, Sonic 1. Like
that one was pretty good. I don't really enjoy Sonic at all, and I actually quite enjoyed that movie for what it was, because it was way better than any of like the shit that Sega has churned out for their video games as of late.
Mm-hmm.
The writing was actually pretty fucking solid. It was a good movie, and when I found out they're making a second, especially with Idris Elba as Knuckles, I was like, "Ooh, yeah."
That was pretty bad. The second one was really bad.
The second one was bad.
What?
So what were you saying about Death Stranding? What about Death Stranding?
Some water. I'll be right back.
I'm trying to think of it. Sonic might be a bad example. But what's the
it's a terrible example.
No, Sonic's a bad example. There's movies that.
I mean, you know what? I got a good one for you. I got a good one for you. Silent Hill.
No,
the movie.
Right.
The Silent Hill movie. Like the Silent Hill movie did not do that well. It was decent, but it did not do well, and yet they still came out with a sequel, which was bad.
No. I'm talking about the opposite. I'm talking about movies that made more money than you thought. You know what I mean? Like that's the point. Is that it made more money than you thought. Therefore, it must be a good enough movie to warrant a sequel.
Oh, I see what you mean.
You know what I mean? So. Yeah. Go Death Stranding, even though it was not a good game, and there are a lot of people who agree with that. Like overall, it was not good story, yes, good premise, good idea, but not good execution of the game. Still made enough money, and probably the billions, to go. Well, people paid for it, so we might as well make a sequel. We have the money to make a sequel because they're gonna buy it anyway, type of thing. You know, and that's how you know. Like again, it has Kojima's name all over it, so it was gonna make money.
So, a question on that, because our argument originally before was we were wondering how the game was going to do, and I was saying how well it's going to do simply because it has Kojima's name on it, right? So now that we know what this game is, now that we know that it's not really much of a game, more than like a walking simulator with a little bit of fucking sprinkled other things in there. Now that people know what the game is, do you think people are still going to buy it as much because it still has Kojima's name in it?
No,
I agree.
I think there's gonna be a lot of more. Again, it's
because people are gonna buy a brand new game for Kojima. That's definitely like what's gonna happen. That's why it made so much money. Oh shit, Kojima is making his own game. Finally, we can finally buy something other than Metal Gear. So of course people went crazy and bought this first game. But now the second game's coming, and everybody's like, I don't want to fucking run around a map again and do this. Yeah, like, I don't see it making as much money this time around.
Oh, that's my point. Is like, and that's what happens with sequels sometimes, right? With movies that, again, I can't think of a good one right now, but if I did, I would. But it made so much money. People were like, holy shit, that made a lot of money. We're gonna make a sequel, and then the sequel comes out and it bombs because they go, well, we only thought the first one was gonna be good because of X, Y, and Z, but we saw that it wasn't. It was horrible. We went to go see it anyway. You know, well, okay. You know, it's a good example, like the first Suicide Squad, like, or you know what? Even better, Batman versus Superman.
Okay? Oh yeah, that's a better
perfect example. Like the Batman versus Superman, or even the Superman movie itself. Like they came, you heard their premise, like, oh my god, Batman, Superman, fucking, and this producer is gonna make $1 billion. Can't wait. So everybody to see it, and they went, oh man, that was fucking trash. But they started to build sequels off of it because it made so much money, right?
Off the
And
name
then
itself.
off the name itself, just off the name, and then all the sequels that came out kind of bombed because they're like, no, this premise was actually really fucking bad. I mean, you guys ruined this, you know. And that's what's gonna happen with That's what's happening with Death Stranding. Death Stranding came out, everybody fucking it made its money in pre-orders alone, you know. And once it came out, everybody fucking bought it. But then as you're playing this game, you're like, I'm giving it the benefit of the doubt because it's fucking Kojima. I'm gonna keep playing. I'm gonna beat this because it's Kojima. And then you beat the game, you're like, man, I just fucking delivered pizza for 2 days straight. Like, you know, you're disappointed. So then when they do a sequel, you're gonna have that in your mind. Well, that game was fucking horrible. I couldn't believe, and then they did that fucking director's cut, which was the same thing. It probably should have been in there. And the only way they can make the sequel better and really pull you in is if they emphasize on the gameplay. You know what I mean? Like, we've added new gameplay, we added new elements, we added all this stuff. Look at it, we're not the same fucking pizza walking sim.
I'm
Yes,
hoping
we'll have
Kojima's
that.
like he gets that feedback and kind of changes
Yeah,
things.
because yes, we have that, but it's not all we're doing. You know, it's kind of like the Metal Gear Solid game. Like the first one, they kind of went and tried to do his own thing, where it's more about it was more about the stealth versus like like the newer games, especially Part 4. I love it's more about the stealth than it is the going on action and stuff like that. Like they just kind of made it try to make it its own. And then this, they kind of did the opposite. They need to put the gameplay back into the game.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Kevin, what about you?
If I say I don't care, would you believe me?
I mean,
No.
if you don't care, you know how I feel about that. Just why don't you care?
Okay, so it's not that I don't care. I'm actually excited for the game, and it's weird because I was like, it gives me a reason to play the second one. Because when I played Death Stranded for 15 minutes, I felt very empty, and I was like, yeah, this like I feel like 15 minutes not enough. I probably played it for a max 2 hours, and then I dropped it because I didn't enjoy the game. Um, I'm excited to see what differences they would do for this game. Like you can't paint the same shit twice. You know, you can't give me a piece of shit twice. Which I'm guessing they're not. So I'm hoping that the gameplay is drastically different from the first. Not completely, not drastic, but different enough that it feels like an actual game and it doesn't feel like it's an Unreal Engine fucking game.
Are you expecting it to be like more? Do you want it to be
Better.
like more actiony?
No, I want it to feel like a game, and it doesn't feel like I'm in a sandbox. I'm paying $6 for a sandbox, and I would hope that they give me something to do, like they give you like events that happen in the world, or and make it like more popular, so it doesn't feel like you're alone. Like you can run into like random quests and things like you know make it something. Like don't make it the same thing you made before, as in just going from point A to point B back to point A. Getting help on like a bridge or something. Like I want to be different. Like make like the monsters more active. Like have more people, or do something, or don't do that, or like have the game be just a story game or something. Like be drastically different from the first game, because if you make it the same, it's going to be it's going to get bombed. It's going to get just bombed to all hell. And I wouldn't want the sequel to be that. I want it to be better. Like you can't capture lightning in a bottle twice, but you can't fuck up a game twice. You know what I mean? It's easy to do that, but that shouldn't be your goal. It should be different. You want people to play this game. You want people to enjoy this game. You want them to understand the story, the gameplay, and all that. You got to give us that. You can't expect us to dig for it in a game that there's nothing to dig.
So
like,
I was gonna ask Randy, what were your thoughts?
Didn't play the first one. Not gonna play the second one. Don't care about it to come out. Honestly, I know there was a lot of hype behind the first one. It was a huge letdown. Second one's probably gonna be the same thing. So yeah, if Kevin wants to add more to his statement, he definitely can.
yeah,
There's genuinely no excitement or anything that I want to get for this.
Yeah. It's hard to get excited for a game that it sounded worse. It sounds exactly how somebody describes it. That's what made me not interested in playing the game. That it sounded exactly how somebody was describing the
Well, in like
game
a negative kind of boring way,
in
because
a negative kind. Yeah,
yeah, because someone could describe a game and it could sound exciting, and then when it does like play as exciting or even more exciting than like their description, it's good.
I don't even
yeah.
know how anybody can go about describing that game as exciting in some way. Like,
Oh no, you'd be surprised. There were
Yeah.
these two people that once the game came out, they were like, uh, definitely the phrase that I would use is Kojima dick riders, because that's all it was. Like it
mhm.
was a hype, as Sober had mentioned.
I
Like,
was a
oh, we're
part of
gonna
that
see
hype
a
too,
Kojima game.
because I'm a huge
Yeah,
Kojima
Yeah.
fan. Yeah.
but you were quickly like you were
It was
disillusioned to it. You were like, oh shit, this is pretty fucking boring. It's ass. Like you knew right away that it wasn't as great as like it was hyped up to be.
Mm-hmm.
But these people were like so fucking like the wool was over their eyes, and they're like, oh, it's such a deep story, blah blah blah. I'm like, what? No, I maybe perhaps, but
I
the
I
gameplay you
yeah.
could have any
if I had
fucking
Those
story
are
behind it, and that's fantastic.
those are the hardcore Kojima fans who like defend them just nonstop and never find any faults. Like I love Kojima very much, but like
But his writing ability is
even
interesting to say the
well,
least.
that's the thing though. Like I love his writing, and I appreciate Kojima's effort to make something different, especially because he even said so when he was making the game that he was trying to make a new genre. And I appreciate him making the effort to try to do so, but it just didn't turn out so well. Like Danny said, like it didn't translate very well. I think this would have made a great movie. He's been
yeah, it would
itching.
have been
He's been
awesome.
itching to make a
Or a
movie, and
series.
he could have made a great movie out of this game. But instead,
Or
he
this
made a walking
or a nice
simulator.
series. Could have been a great series because it's
Yeah.
nice because he likes the long, slow burn, and it would have been a great artistic, like, okay, I get it, series.
The thing with
Like,
Kojima is that his writing isn't meant for video games. Can his
Mhm.
name be attached to a really good video game? Yes, of course. Metal Gear, its writing is super fucking interesting. It's kind of like it's super nutty because there are parts where it does seem to make sense and it's very grounded in reality. But then once it like kind of blows out of proportion, it's like oh, Kojima went fucking buck wild on this, and you could tell.
Mm-hmm.
But what definitely helps the series as a whole is its gameplay, because every single Metal Gear game has played very well.
Mm-hmm.
or different.
Yeah, because even 5 being like an open world thing, or 2 like just kind of teasing you with Snake for like the first hour and a half, and then you just get fucking swapped into Raiden, and you're like, what the hell? Like
Mm-hmm.
everything still plays
Yeah.
extremely fucking well. I enjoyed Mr. Boy Band, honestly.
I liked Bert. I had no problem with him, but people were very upset.
I didn't
Yeah,
like his
because they
character.
Only, I thought it was
do
alright.
you
I
like
mean,
him better in Revengeance?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was gonna say like I would say Revengeance was it Kojima?
No.
No, it
It
was
was,
just by
it
Kojima
was
had
Kojima.
Platinum
no.
Games.
Yeah. Kojima
no,
had no. Did not touch that game.
no.
Did you? Okay, I know that you guys don't care for the story because the story was kind of wild, anyways. But did you enjoy the gameplay?
Oh, of course. It was
Yeah,
fun. It was just
it's really
wild
really
Yeah,
fun.
enjoyable. Yeah.
yeah, and I feel like if Kojima has that, not even just that, like if he has somebody like make the game for
Yeah,
him, and then just and like have his name on it, but just like give them like advice on it. I feel like Death Stranding 2 can be an amazing game, but it's just like if he does it
right.
himself, I don't see the game going well. I wholeheartedly do not see that game doing well.
And that's
Yeah.
what he wanted. He wanted to try to, and I get you. I give him credit for
Credit.
Point.
trying.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? Like it's not like he didn't want to be like everybody else and just make the same fucking game or the same game they think he's gonna make. You know and he kind of did if you think about it though. It's still like a stealth fucking oriented game where but
Mm-hmm.
still, he wanted to try to stay away and make his own style. Fine, I get that,
Mhm.
but it's again, you got to give him credit for trying. At least that's the only thing I can really say. He tried to
Yeah,
do something new. It just completely fucking bombed. I mean, if
I mean,
people would have liked that walking sim game, then it would have been like the best ever walking sim. I mean, it technically is the best ever walking sim game ever.
yeah,
Like
it
I
did
can
real
say
well.
that much, but that's not gonna be a high bar to say. That's like, but
I mean,
still,
I get it. I get what you're saying. I feel like even though he tried something new, I still give him that like he did something different. Like, you know what I mean? Because no matter how many times you try something new, you're not going to be great at it the first.
No.
And I give him that credit. I agree with you on that. That he tried something new. I just hope with this he does something different than he did before. Like, I hope his mind has changed from the experience of Death Stranding 1, and then when we go into the sequel, it's not drastically different that you can't relate to the game, but different enough that it brings an audience in, or you eventually would just have a bunch of the same people buying the same game twice, and it's not worth it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's something that I would like. I would hope that I'm hoping that this game does well, because I like Kojima's games, because the story is what usually gets me into. I don't play the game, but I would watch somebody play the game with them just to understand the story. Because the people that play the games, and I'm not saying this to be mean to them, is that they can't fucking describe the story to me like that in a way that I understand. So I'll have to look it up, or I'll
Well,
just
it's
watch the
hard to
game.
even describe Metal Gear's story for that matter too. Like
I feel like Metal Gear makes more sense than fucking Death Stranding though.
it does, but Death Stranding also, being that it's just a one game, it left a lot of open-ended questions, a lot of mystery still, and that's another
And
reason
that's why they're making
why.
a second one,
And,
dude. They're granting you your wish.
Yeah, and that's
They're
why I
giving you
thought they
what
were
you
gonna make a
wanted.
sequel. I was just like, okay. I really thought that maybe they're gonna do DLC, but I guess he's just making a whole other thing. I agree with you guys with it
I feel
all.
excitement, bro.
I'm hoping that he changes the game a bit with less walking, a little bit more
Here's my question for you,
horror,
Danny.
stealth, action, whatever.
Do you believe that this game did as well as it did only because Kojima's name was on it?
The first one?
Yes.
Oh hell
Yeah.
yeah!
The first
Yeah,
one,
yeah,
yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, the arguments that we had was like, no, this would have been a good game regardless. If you listen to the first one on this, the argument was that you did not believe that this game only did well because Kojima's name on it. And if somebody else had this name on it, nobody, or Kojima didn't say his name on it, it still would have did exactly the same. And my argument was that no, Kojima's name is the only reason why this fucking game did good.
I think you're
Okay, can I-
missing my point, or what I meant by that though. What I meant was that this is a brand new game, a brand new genre, a brand new concept that a lot of people were excited for. So it would have done well regardless if it was Kojima's name or not. But the fact that
Okay.
Kojima's name was on it, I still admit that that was a big selling point.
Okay, I have something to say. Randy, me and you can
my
go now
God.
because they're gonna start
Oh, my
arguing.
golly.
Mom and dad are fighting again.
Yeah, I'm about to sleep.
Go to the bomb shelter
Well,
quick.
so I mean, just to end this one, because we have two other topics to talk about that are probably going to go a bit longer, hopefully.
Okay.
We're all in agreement though. Hopefully the game is different, and that it's probably not going to do as well because maybe the niche people are probably going to buy this game and not so much the other people who already know what to expect.
I can definitely see Death Stranding 2 being a horror game, like especially with the monsters that they have. I can see it being that. I can see it being something like something similar to the first. It would, you know, what would be a Kojima,
you can't guess Kojima. You can't. Like,
no. You know what would be a good Kojima move?
But it
If he
could be
makes
that this is the reason why they did the director's cut. So you can. The director's cut, I guess they did, and they added more action.
You're breaking up, Danny.
I said the director's cut. They added more action into it, so it could be a reason why they made that director's cut. Because when the second one comes out, you're like, all right, this is going to be more actiony. Hopefully, that's what I hope.
You know what I hope Kojima does? He does the he does the Kingdom Hearts thing, and he just fucks with people in the first hour. I would say hour or two, of like just making it like like a walking sim or a pizza delivery, and then just like flip the switch like it's something completely different. Like it's a new Kingdom Hearts because 2.8.
Okay.
Fight me.
I mean 2.9.
All right.
Fight me.
All right. So we're gonna go to the next article. The next article right now. It's kind of a big deal. This is an industry changer, kind of. The quality assurance team for Raven Software, which they work on Call of Duty Warzone, they have unionized. They have created a union. They voted for a union, and they are pretty much the first union ever in the gaming industry. They started in April and they all voted yes, and pretty much are working on negotiations with Activision Blizzard. Activision Blizzard themselves are trying to work on having 1,000 QA workers have full-time positions, increase their pay to $20 an hour, and allow QA workers access to bonuses and benefits. This is an article from Polygon that I have here. Now, I should mention the reason why this is a big deal and the reason why they're unionizing is because, especially with QA workers, they are, most of them are considered contractors. They're not even full actual employees with these development companies or publishers, for that matter. So that means if they're contractors, they can get let go and transferred and do all sorts of things on a whim. Also, they don't get any benefits because they're working quote unquote temporarily, even though they can possibly work there for years. They can also get away with paying a whole lot less. So yeah, this is a big deal. So it's not just QA development that has this problem. It's a lot of other positions in the gaming industry that does this, but this is a good start. So this is something that hopefully that gets the ball rolling for other people to start unionizing and start doing something about these publishers kind of taking advantage of game development companies and the teams. Randy, what do you think about that?
Oh shit. Uh, I, I was looking at some Lego stuff right now. I'll admit.
Oh shit! Hold on. Can I just mention something real quick?
Go ahead,
You know,
please.
okay, so I'm just gonna go back to the first topic real quick. They mentioned when in the leaks they had the main character from the Lego movie as a lead character as well. Just wanted to let you guys know.
Okay.
All right, I'm done.
Randy, so you're saying, or kind of wanted to say?
I was like, please continue. I'll admit I don't really look into stuff of unions and whatnot, but hearing kind of a more detailed thing of what you were saying, how like they could just be like, oh, whatever. It's a really good step for them because instead of being kind of like fucked with and just like, we probably won't need you anymore, and let's just kind of go ahead and remove you from whatever it is that we have you in position as. Um, it seems like it's a more solid, safe, job to kind of have now.
It gives them a secure job, that's for sure.
Yeah, yeah. So it's a really good step because I feel like a lot of companies that we're probably not even fucking aware of that they have a lot of what was it, contractors, as you said?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So maybe we'll see more of this, and
Kevin?
As a person that works with a union, it always feels good to know that you have somebody that has their back because they can't do anything like in a way illegal or in their sense it would just be contract, and they can't abuse you the way that they've been doing before. It's beneficial for the workers and it's more safer for them. And I'm actually happy that this is the first that I'm hearing about this because I truly do appreciate the union system. It's kind of weird for me hearing it because it's like working in not the exact same union, but working in a union, it would be like a more benefits for them. I hope that they get like the whole shebang, like dental, all that stuff. I hope that it's actually set. It's not just they're talking about it and then like it's 10 years and then that's when it takes effect. I would hope that it's almost not instant, but I would hope in the next month or so that they get union like their benefits for union. And then I would wonder like does it take effect immediately or is it just like they have to work like a set amount of time for their
I'm sure some companies, most I would assume that some companies, if they were to go through this situation, that they would probably wait till the fiscal year and then like that kind of starts, so that way they can start keeping track of it and make sure they have the funds and all that stuff. But it's also still up to the union as well how they want to negotiate it, because they can negotiate and be very stern about, no, we want it right now, or we want it at a certain date, like a scheduled time, and they actually have every right to kind of like have a time limit as to when negotiations end.
I definitely agree with that. The only issue that I have is if the company decides, if they get the time, that they can abuse it in a way that it would be beneficial to the company in a way, because if it, let's say for example, it takes place in a month, right? That means from the month, from now to the month, the date, they can get rid of whatever employees that they want just to save costs, and then hire them from with the union. You know what I mean? Like it could be something like as scummy as that, just to save costs, just so that they can not please the union, but save money on the union in a way. And I would hope that's why I would rather instantaneous, like as instantaneous as possible or as quick as possible, that the union takes effect, because you don't want to be working and then like the last day, the day before you get your union, you get fired for some like stupid reason, or you get let go for whatever reason. You know what I mean? That it's scary to have that type of job and not know like if you have anybody like actually behind like helping you. You know what I mean? It's really scary. But hopefully in the future that they get that. They deserve it. They definitely do.
Danny?
I'm really always been against unions only because they can unions can destroy small companies and really ruin you. Smaller
Mhm.
companies, large
Yeah.
companies that make a lot of money can kind of afford it. And
Mhm.
it all and there's unions are always weird. Unions is not something it's not an easy topic. Yes, if you're in a good union, very beneficial, gonna help you out,
Mhm.
save you. But as a company, I see it as like, okay, how to make the most money from the company aspect. That's what it's
Mhm.
about at the end of the day.
Mhm.
Sometimes it hurts the company because it's like, okay, I now have that. Not a just an example. I have no clue of your work ethic, but I have Kevin, right?
Mhm.
He does exactly what his union contract states. He comes to work every day, 9 to 5. You know, he comes exactly 9, comes in at 5. That's part of his contract. He comes in every day, he cleans, but he does nothing else. He does only what his contract states. We I can do anything else, he doesn't do it.
Mm-hmm.
So technically, we can't fire him because he's doing exactly what his contract states.
You're finding something wrong with that?
Well, yeah, because there's no initiative, right?
Oh yeah.
There's no initiative for if you need Kevin. Oh man, I really need Kevin to stay an extra hour to do stuff because we're in a bind. If we don't get this extra hour, oh fuck.
Oh,
Well,
time crunches.
but the thing is with that is that that's the employee's decision to do. There's nothing wrong with the employer asking and then the employee deciding if they want to or not. Because if they say no, then they're still well within their contracts and still be okay. But if they say yes, then that would still benefit them afterwards. The problem with that is that, and you should know this, like me and you grew up in the retail business for a long time. Like retail, they'll take a mile when you give them an inch. Like they will drive you to the ground.
Let me give you a great example of a union thing that we had a horrible problem with. Okay, union contract, they have this thing called seniority in some unions, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And again, everything's different. So let's say you're number 1, Danny. You know, Kevin's 2, Randy's 3, and I'm 4. Um, your your number 1 or number 2 or whatever, number 2 person is being fucking horrible, absolutely horrible. He doesn't want to do any of his work. He wants to fucking bitch and moan about every little thing, being super disrespectful, not breaking any union rules, but still at a point where that fucker needs to go home, right? And you
Mhm.
need to send that person home. Doesn't want to do anything. He's technically come to work today, but doesn't want to do his job, and this happened a lot. We can't just send him home.
Yeah.
He'll still get paid. What
Oh.
happens is you have to send. I'm last, so you have to send me home first. Then whoever's number 3, you have to send them home. Then you're able to send that person who's fucking up the number 2 or the number 1 spot home. So you have to send multiple people home first in order for that person to be disciplined properly. Okay,
Mhm.
same thing for suspension. If he gets suspended, he still gets paid if as long as the other people are working, which is not right. You
Yeah.
know. So there's a lot of like I said, there's a lot of union
Nuances.
nuances that people don't understand.
But
That
is that in every
there's
union, the whole seniority thing, or is it just like
Yeah. No, it's the
it's
union.
for the union to
It's the
decide?
union.
it's a union thing. It's
Yeah,
Oh,
it
a
is.
union
Can,
thing.
can I add
And
an example? Can I add an example? So
yeah,
in the union I'm in, they also do seniority, and I can be well qualified for a position, and I won't get the promotion because somebody can be 10 years or whatever in the company,
Hmm.
and I have to wait for them to either, and no bullshit, I have to either wait for them to die or
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 quit
quit.
reject
because
or yeah,
yeah, or die or
or
quit
reject.
because or rejected. No, because they can have the position that I want, but even if they like, let's say they leave and they can't work for 3, 4, 5 years,
Hmm.
their position is still held because of their seniority. So they say I can't work anymore. That's when I can maybe get the position, and then I have like 1,000 people ahead of me, so I won't even get the position to like maybe 30 years later. So the promotion is the promotion, the way they promote people is very straight. It's very strange to me because I could be
Yeah.
well qualified for that position, but I won't get it because I don't have seniority. And then it's like I'm like that that doesn't make sense to me. You know what I mean? Like if this person is in the hospital for 6 years, why can't I take their position? And it's like, oh, because they're still part of the union and blah blah blah, and they still get paid for that. And then it's
So
like you're just you hold up the line for potential promote like pretend people to move up in the line
are
in a
are
sense.
are you and Danny like are you saying like they like these people shouldn't be unionizing then? They should just still continue to just be taken
No,
advantage of?
no,
Because
I say it in
I
the
feel like right now this is a good start for an industry that doesn't know how to treat its employees properly. Like we're getting a lot of reports right now about Nintendo and them abusing their employees when it comes to like work hours and things like that. We already know about the Activision Blizzard thing. We know about the Bungie thing going on. Like there's a lot of fucked up things in the industry right now that needs to be fixed, and unionizing I feel like is the best thing to in order to not only be taken seriously, but to finally put some ground rules as to how these people should be treated.
the issue I have with unions is that they defend the wrong, they sometimes protect the wrong people, and that's an issue that I have. Like they deserve the union, but I can only see it because I can only see it a negative way. Like they do deserve it, but I can only see the people that don't really help the employees or the people that will benefit from it in a negative light. Like they can abuse the system, and that's the issue that I have. Like if it's union, I'm okay with it, but I only see negative people benefiting more from it because then
Yeah.
now they can abuse the system even more from before.
Hmm.
Hmm. Like, and
Danny?
again,
so
it's one of
that
those things.
hold on,
It,
can I ask this? Like this one, maybe
Yeah,
you two can answer.
yeah.
Just like to help me get a better understanding, if anything. Would the Activision Blizzard, the whole sexual, allegation stuff, would that have been worse if it was unionized
Yes,
from before?
yes,
yes, hell fucking yes.
yes,
Yeah,
yes.
because
It was
No,
if
you know
it's
how hard
like
it is to fire somebody? It's really, really hard to fire somebody for a union. Well, a lot of fucking proof. And if your union leader or your union crew is on your side, fuck, there's no fucking way. So this would have been
and
even more so because the union definitely would have been on this fucking rich fucker's side trying to protect him. That's all they
yep,
do. They get paid to protect their employees. It's because
and
they get that because the union's employees are their cash cows. They pay union dues, right? They pay a lot of union dues, especially the more money you make.
mhm,
So if somebody's paying a lot of money for the union dues, you want
mhm.
that money. So we do everything we can to fucking save that person.
Yep, and the we most I would say I don't know if Dan would agree. Dan, would you agree? Like we would have never even heard of this to like
No,
maybe years later. We
no,
would have
they
heard
would
of
have
it
been
years
definitely.
later.
It would have been covered up so well by with a good union because this
It
would
would
be
have
a
been
more higher end union than your average
yeah,
like
yeah,
just workers union type of thing. This is more than that kind of aspect is more than just a workers union.
and that's the issue that I have.
And not all unions are bad. That's not what I'm saying.
Yeah,
But
I
this
don't
is a
want to say that.
possibility.
it's a
Yeah, it's
possible.
just a huge
It's
possibility when it comes to bigger companies that are unionized
yeah, and
because
that's mhm,
there's a lot of money involved in it,
yeah,
and
Hmm.
people don't
and
realize that.
and that's something that I didn't know till like I started working with the union. It's not that the union is bad, but there's bad people in the union, and it's never the people that you assume. It's always like
No.
it's just like the regular people that you're like, oh, why is this guy not fired? And it's just like, oh, he's doing his job. You know what I mean? He
Yeah,
comes
he's
he
doing
comes
it.
into work every day. He's doing what he's getting paid for.
He's technically doing what he gets paid to do, but he's spitting in people's food. Yeah, but he's making the
Yeah.
food.
Yeah, and the
Like,
thing is when you get
there's a saying-
They
when
still
you
have to follow other policies and procedures. There's still
Yes, I mean,
OSHA.
that's
There's still
extreme.
such things as
Yes,
OSHA
that
violations and
that was
such.
that was an extreme.
that's exactly
Obviously,
that was an extreme
like
But
choking
he's
over
still making
somebody's
the
food,
food.
but it's fucking thing. But still,
and the,
like, yeah, I'm making the food, but I'm making it really slow.
Uh-huh.
and you want to know what
You know what I
and
mean?
you
Like,
want to
Yeah.
know
I'm doing my job. I'm cleaning. I'm
yeah
cleaning this one spot, but I'm cleaning. I come in every day and I clean this one fucking spot. It's like,
hmm
well, but you're not actually cleaning. It's like, well, see my
my
union.
union
Talk to my
union
union guy.
says different.
Talk to my
Exactly
union. That's it.
and the
And they go,
and the
and then you got to talk to the fucking union rep, and then the union rep is paid by the union, who fucking usually is a worker. And
yeah
it's like, no, and if no, he's doing his job. There's nothing wrong. I see nothing wrong. This is
yep
even if it gets elevated, it gets hidden because again, those are the employees that pay them. If you don't have an employee, then you're not getting paid from some, they're not getting their money.
hmm
So
Mhm.
that's the only reason like some unions can be abused, and I don't like it.
yes
Okay.
Granted,
All
though,
right.
and again,
So
here's the plus
okay
side.
hold on,
Here's the
hold on,
plus
guys,
side
hold
with
on,
it.
guys. So now that we've had a lesson on the pros and cons of it, but I still want to know your thoughts on it happening right now with the game industry.
I don't think the game industry is being abused though.
Really, you have not been reading enough.
yeah
I think
working
there are
12
people. I think there are people who are not happy because they feel like they
No,
should.
dude.
no
No.
it's
Read up on
Well,
Nintendo. The shit they've been doing lately. Dude,
okay,
you're not.
okay. So they're being forced to work crazy hours, right? And with lack of pay, or maybe they do get paid still, and it's pretty rushed.
or
How is the union gonna help?
They
They'll
s-
work
they
less
s-
hours
they
and the
s-
games
they
won't
s-
come
they
out.
set standards on hours, pay, and an actual job because, like I said before, a lot of not game developers. Actually, no, sorry, even game developers, including the QA that we mentioned in the article, they're considered contractors. It's no different than when we talked about when we had a discussion before, outside of the podcast when we talked about wrestlers being freelancers, like they're contractors and they don't have any benefits. They get nothing, and then they get told that they can't work in other places, even though they're technically contractors, but they're stuck in one spot, and then they get fired, and then they're screwed afterwards. It's no different than the gaming industry. So a lot of people get screwed the same exact way.
yeah
But unionizing wrestling is not the solution either. It's just
Well,
fucking
no,
paying
I
these
mean,
people right.
I don't want to get into the unionizing for wrestling because I know that's a whole other
But I'm
different type
saying,
of company.
okay, what I'm saying is on if if you have a date, then you have to push out these dates, and your job is to push out to make this game come out so it can get released a certain day, so it can make the money it's supposed to, so they can keep generating more games, and the cycle fucking continues. So what makes fucking Nintendo so great?
Where it does makes another
And
point right here that it just reminded me of. He says set standards, pay rate in hours. Over 40 hours is 2 times the rate or so. So that reminds me, they also don't get paid overtime.
they do not
They don't get paid overtime because they're contractors.
okay, and so
the
then but you have to look at what. Okay, so what happens if you start paying them overtime? You start paying, and it's again, this is a sucky situation. Don't get me wrong, it's not the nicest thing to say, but you start paying them overtime. That means they cost you time and a half extra. You still have to push these hours to get these games out on time.
Mm-hmm.
So that means you still give them these hours. Yes, they're getting
Mm-hmm.
paid. Don't get me wrong, but it's now costing the company way more money because it ultimately all
But
these
we're talking
benefits.
about individual people who are suffering for their jobs right now. We're not talking about the big companies. Of course, the big companies are going to try to squeeze in as much as they can. They're going to try to make as much money with as little spending as possible. But the topic is the people, the actual employees who are suffering right now, and they've already tried the regular way to try to voice their concerns and try to get paid and treated normally, which has not worked, which is why it's led to unionization.
But
Mm.
what?
I
But again, but what if the company can't afford to actually pay these overtime, and that's why they're pushing this. So if a company can't afford to pay overtime, then it means the company's going to go under, which ends up happening to a lot of companies. So, and as I said, on the smaller ones, it kind of really sucks because that's why I don't like unions because on the smaller one,
I
the companies
agree.
can't. The companies
yeah.
can't afford it,
I
so it's fine.
agree.
All these employees now don't have a job,
I
so they
agree,
went
but
from having a job to not having a job
I
because
agree,
the
but
company now can
I
afford
would
to
still
unionize.
fight for something that I think I deserve. I deserve to get paid time and a half. I deserve 40 hours and a secure job, even whether the company might go under or not. I deserve a secure job. I deserve benefits. Why am I not getting all of that when I'm busting my ass doing coding or playing these video games? Like you think for a Q&A person, all you're doing is playing video games and that's it. Like you're doing a lot of notes. You're doing a lot of things as a QA person, not just playing video games. It's not that easy. So like you need to ask for those things. And the thing is also it's not even just pushing for the money and the pay and the hours and the security and all that stuff. It's also making a statement. It's also saying that people are getting fed up with the way they're being treated, and hopefully other companies will follow suit and say, oh shit, this is a serious issue, we should stop unionization, overall in the industry, and they should shape up and start paying people more. And if not paying people more, at least give them benefits. If not giving benefits, then at least give them fucking time and a half. They've gotta do something. You're not going to pay every single employee $10 an hour for the rest of their lives.
Pay them 11.
paid him 12. 12.
Oh, wait.
And
wait,
you
wait, too
can't
much,
and you
too much,
can't
too
tell
much.
me, especially the big companies, you can't tell me that these people cannot afford it because they have tripled the amount of income that the movie industry has made. Tripled. So they make more money. The gaming industry makes more money than the movie industry, 3 times as much. So they're absolutely able to afford it.
I
On
only
Six times as much as Morbius.
a privately owned company, yes, of course. But a company that has shareholders and stocks and things that help pretty much run that, they have to show profits. And you have to make the most out of your money. If you're not showing your profit, stockholders back out. The more stockholders back out, the less money your companies will ultimately be making, and then you end up going bankrupt and closing shop. These are the biggest companies we've had have gone bankrupt because they could not meet the shareholders agreement. Once you become a public company, a big company like EA, whatever it is, you have a lot more to worry about than kind of what your employees are doing. Because if you want to keep the doors open, period, it sucks
Then
for the
make
people
your
down below.
employees happy.
Sucks for the people down below who never said, and it really does suck for people down below. I'm not saying it's not a fair system, but it's a system that they have right now, and it sucks that it has to be that way. The privately owned ones, they can afford it, obviously, if they're making. There are companies that are privately owned that a lot of the money goes straight to the bottom.
Danny's gonna be a fucking evil villain CEO one day
I'm
because it
not.
seems like every single time we have an argument about like the business side of things, he's always siding with the business side of things. You never really do argue for the little guy, do you?
Oh,
No,
hold on.
because
I
Hold
I'm
on,
sorry,
hold on, Kevin.
no, the reason and it sucks, but I do agree with Dan because the only reason I agree with him is because the more that they pay, the games will be delayed because of the union.
Yeah,
It's gonna
not
be
even just delayed; they could be possibly be canceled.
no. Well, and then
yes,
that's the money.
or cost us more.
Yes,
Yeah,
The money has to
the
come from
consumers.
somewhere.
it has
Yes,
to come
and
from.
that's just okay. The hard and I'm not Democratic and I'm not Republican, so I don't want to get into politics that people think that I am.
No, I don't care either way.
I'm really not. But my point is that what happened with the $15 an hour, right? The reason why everything you pay so much for fucking soap right now and
Or milk.
dishwashing detergent or milk or baby formula is partially because of stuff like that. The more money you have to dish out to people, the more goods will cost. The more gas goes up, the more everything in the world is going to go up. So the $15 that people think, oh, that's great, I get $15 an hour, but the amount of inflation has gone up just the amount of the same. So whether you're getting paid $10 or $15, it's practically still the same percentage wise because everything's
It's
going
not because number one, $15 is still not enough based on the inflation that we're at right now.
no, and it's not. Yeah, exactly. But it's gone up
But
because
the
of
the
inflation.
the point is that the pay was supposed to catch up. It's supposed to stay at the same pace as inflation, which has not happened for like the past 20, 30 years.
Yes, but I understand that. But inflation also never rose this drastic, this high within 3 years. It happened because all these big companies got scared, and that's exactly what would happen if a company gets unionized. They go, "Oh man, we have to pay all these companies. We have to. Where can we make this money up? Because they're not gonna lose money. That's not what they're gonna do. If you have to pay $100 extra to each person, they're gonna figure out how to fuck to make extra $100 from every consumer or aspect that is out there.
Mhm.
So other people will pay for this,
Mhm.
regardless at the end of the day. So there again, it sucks for the smaller people. Don't get me wrong. And yes, there are some, and again, there are some companies out there that the simple human rights they lack, and those companies, yes, that's what the union was really made for. And thus, like I said, the union is not a terrible thing. There's times where it really, like certain companies really
Yep.
fucking need it. You know,
Sure.
Amazon warehouse, great example. Amazon is they need it only because their guys get really shitted on more than it's just not even like human basic rights. They get all the stuff that they get. They
You're
get
feeling
insurance,
this way
they
about
get
Amazon, but you're not feeling this way about the game developers and QA people and all that because you don't know what they've been going through. Like I read these articles and the shit that they go through is ridiculous. Like it's damn near slave labor. Like I
but
don't understand how you could
there's
how you could say that it's
there's
okay for Amazon to possibly get a union, but it's not okay for the game industry to because of the way that they're treated.
because
I,
there's multiple outcomes that you can do from that. You have this degree in coding, for instance. There's other coding jobs besides a small fucked up one that you're at. You don't stay there
So your
if it's good.
argument is if you don't like it, you quit?
No, you get something better. If you don't like it, you
Oh my
find a
God,
way to grow.
Danny. That's naive to think that
That's
way.
no, it's
Not
right.
everyone has the luxury to do that.
Why not? Everybody has,
You know
but they
what?
don't have
If
the
you don't like
choice.
America, just move, Danny. Just move. Like
No,
hold up.
how
Hold,
easy is
hold,
that? How easy is that to happen?
hold on.
But no, but that's also a good thing. If I didn't like America for whatever reason, I would move. But I do like it because I do have opportunity
That's not my
to do
point.
anything I
My
want.
point is
Hold,
that
hold,
you can't just drop everything and move to another country just like that.
hold on.
Go ahead, Kevin.
I have a point. Well, I have a point to what you said. You said not every person has the luxury. I forgot what you said about moving to another company, but I don't think every company has the luxury to have a union, and then that's the issue that I have. It's not that it is terrible, like the slave labor, damn near slave labor that we're talking about in the game companies, but not every company has the luxury, the three times the fucking movie income to give union. It's I would agree with the benefits, the pay and a half. It's like one of the three. You know what I mean? At minimum, at minimum. I would prefer that, but I don't see like the small companies, because the big companies can afford it. Of course, they can afford it.
Yes.
Why can't they? You know what I mean? I definitely agree with that, but it's not a one shoe or one size fit all kind of situation, because we have to put into speculation like
If the
certain companies
companies
don't
were
make as
so
much.
worried about this happening in the first place, they shouldn't have let it
They should have
happen.
been. They should, but you can't prepare for that. You can't always have an umbrella when it's gonna rain. That's
Mhm.
it's one of those things, and it's like I understand that it should have been implemented or added sooner, but we have to take steps into doing it. Like I immediately don't see it now happening, but I can see it in maybe a couple months, like them
Wait, see what?
talking about some see like this happening in a couple of months, like talks about it, plans of it happening, what they're gonna get it, and then within a year at minimum a year within a year they already have their benefits as soon as they punch in that day or something like that, because I don't see it benefiting either the company, or because I'm mainly talking about the small companies. I don't give a fuck about the big companies. The big companies, they're
Yeah, I
they're
do
very
worry
tough.
about the small companies. Yes.
I do because I can see. I'm only seeing it from the small company, the little guys. I'm not seeing it from the big companies that they have the money to provide these services, but they choose not to. The small companies is usually the ones I'm concerned about because they don't have the money to do that.
Mm-hmm.
They're just they're just trying to make ends meet at whatever they have, and I'm more scared for them and their entitlements and their like deals with other companies, and they're gonna be like, oh well, we can't afford it, so we're gonna just clip this small company, and then that's it. You know what I mean? And then that's it for them, and then they lose their job. But then I'm also scared for the company getting like shut down regardless because of finance issues. You know what I mean? It sucks because I only see it as finances, like that they're gonna lose money, and it's gonna be a lot of money on a game. A game is gonna go from like costing like $30,000, not even that, that's an understatement, like $30 million to like almost $1 billion, $2 billion every game, and I don't think they will be able to cash out as much on that game, and then the delays as well. It will also be an issue.
So we're gonna move on from this topic. Danny, you want to give your don't go on too much, but just you want to give your last thoughts on this since you had a lot to say about it.
No, pretty much it. I mean,
Yeah.
again, I do believe there are benefits for smaller ones, but again, everything it's really situational, and again, some companies just don't realize what they can like. Employees think, oh, if we're union, we're gonna be great, we'll be good, but end up losing your job off of it, and that's the thing that people really need to like really debate. Can the company afford it? If they can actually afford it, if they can actually do it without hurting the company, because at the end of the day, it sounds nice to have your company union, and it sounds great. I'm gonna be part of a union, but if your company can't sustain it, it's gonna end up closing.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of big companies claim this because there are so many smaller companies that it gets shitted on, and then the bigger ones are just like it's like the catch-22. The bigger ones are just saying the negatives that happen to small companies, which is true. Like like I said. So what ends up happening is the bigger companies take advantage of this by going, "Oh,
Mm-hmm.
if we get unionized, we'll get closed down. You won't have
Mm-hmm.
a job at all." But it's like
Amazon does it all the time.
yeah, and as I said, they're a great example of it. Like they can afford it. Amazon can fucking afford it. But there are smaller companies, like some smaller video game indie companies that can't actually afford it, that are just making ends meet, and it sucks for the employees. But at least they have some type of job, and they don't realize how much worse it can actually be.
Mm.
You know what I mean? And again, there are some small companies that are making buku money and are getting paid. Like the hirers are getting paid a lot of money, and they're basically a privately owned company. There's a lot of money, and they need it, and they deserve it, and they can win it. But you have to be within the company to really care about your employees to want to do that, to really look into it and go, no, we can afford it. We should be doing this for these people. You know, we want to be the next big fucking EA, and we're gonna start here.
So
the question I have is what company, what big company really gives a fuck about their employees? That's the question or what company cares about their employees?
See, if you asked me that a few months ago, I would have said Bungie, and we already know how that ended up. So it's like you can't ever really tell anymore. Like even Nintendo's in hot water right now. Like you can't even tell, right? You can't even tell anymore. The industry is getting kind of fucked up.
What happens is the more money some of these companies make, the more they try to earn it, and they do all the crazy shady shit. Okay, like WWE is a great example. WWE is a perfect fucking example.
Well, let's move on. Let's move on because I don't want to get too deep, and then we end up in a tangent with. I know you want to talk about that, but
can we talk about this on the late night show?
What?
Can we talk about this on the late night show?
On a late show? Yeah, we could go back to it afterwards. Yeah, hell yeah. All right, so yeah, let's just move on because we're about an hour 13 minutes in, and I don't want to. No, it's a different recording.
Oh, right. Yeah, you're omitting the
the time
difficulties.
The time in the beginning, yeah. So all right, so last article, Babylon's Fall. It was a live service like slasher, hack and slash type of game. What was it? Platinum Games.
Yeah.
Platinum Games made, and it is terrible. It did so bad.
Can you just read the first line of the article?
Okay, so this article is from, what is this? Kotaku. I really
Kotaku.
hate Kotaku, but it was an interesting article. Babylon's Fall fell indeed, and now the live service Loot Slashers next season is
That's what Randy wanted to hear. Randy just like that line.
Yeah, yeah. It was so terrible. I read it and I was like, what the fuck? What?
So hold on. So the live action Loot Slashers next season is going to last twice as long as Square Enix had originally planned. After promising players everything was just fine a couple months ago, Platinum Games is now planning to reevaluate its future content plans. By the way, you want to know, Danny, how many people were playing this game on Steam?
I know. Was it one or something?
One person.
Yeah, I know there was one person on his fucking thing. I read that.
One person was playing this game.
rough.
So
It makes me want to try it even more.
so you know, I don't want to talk about this game particularly too much. Danny, I know you played it, so I want to hear.
I haven't played it.
Oh, so you bought it, but you didn't even play it?
Correct.
That's funny.
There was
Okay.
too much shit that came out at the same
Yeah,
time, and I
yeah.
forgot about it. I actually would
I
have.
know Elden Ring came out that same month, didn't it?
That's exactly why. Elden
There
Ring
you
came out
go.
The same,
Yeah.
same like week actually. It was that and another smaller game that I wanted to.
Yeah.
Might have been
Well,
Ghostwire or something.
so-
I think came out the same day.
So we don't really know too much about the game itself because none of us now apparently played it. But
I've
this
seen
came.
somebody play it.
This came. Let me know about your thoughts on it in a second, though. But this brought in a thought that I was thinking about when I read the article, which is what really the main topic is that this live service game was a flop, and there are a lot of other live service games that have been coming out to be flops lately. So there's like Godfall, Anthem, Fallout 76. Those games, like, bad. So I was wondering what your opinion, guys, on service games. Is this like this trend that's like now starting to die? Should it still continue? Is this like a fad type of thing? I know, Randy, we didn't hear from you for a while because we were talking about the union stuff. So you want to still go first?
You want to start on me again? You want
Yes.
to start on me? Again?
Yes.
One that has like hardly any fucking opinions about anything because all I do is single player games.
Ah, jeez.
I find it absolutely hilarious that this game that had, honestly, I don't think it had any publicity, did it? Because I don't remember seeing anything about it
No,
prior.
it had very small.
There was
Very
like
little commercials I saw on YouTube.
I remember when I told Danny about it. He's like, "Oh, that game's coming out." Yeah, it come out like tomorrow or something. I'm like, really? Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I pre-ordered it.
I was
didn't even
this
know
close
about
to
I
buying it
pre-ordered
too.
3 weeks ago. Yeah, I pre-ordered it. I just saw it one day. I don't know. Why not?
it's hilarious that it just immediately fucking it flopped. But I mean, most most live service games tend to fucking do that nowadays. I feel. What was one? Anthem, was that one?
Anthem.
Yeah.
Anthem flopped.
Yeah, and that one
Fallout
that one
76.
though, that one had a lot of promise to it. Anthem, because remember how like they had like all these.
broke.
Oh no, Fallout 76 was broken from the get, even before it even fucking came out. The only thing that it had going for it was the name of Fallout, but aside from, you couldn't do that. It was that one was lazy. That one was really lazy because that was like, oh, you create the world. It's like, it's a destroyed world. What are we creating exactly?
A box.
But a box. No, but Anthem was given like a lot of publicity.
I actually had the hope for Anthem to be the Destiny killer.
Me too.
Take a shot.
Damn it.
Yeah, no, like that's one thing about that one, but this one had no fucking publicity at all. So the fact that a flop that doesn't come as a surprise, but live service was definitely a fad.
Mm-hmm.
So you think it's dying down?
Oh, of course. I for one, I was never really into them, obviously.
Because I understand the business side of it is that's how you can continue to make more money off of one game. I just think that the way they're going about it now is kind of more of the greedy cash grab, and they're not really thinking through the actual game itself. It's almost like they're putting the microtransactions and the DLCs and the season passes and all that,
and they're building it all around it.
Right,
yeah,
right.
That's the focus, and they're like, okay, so this is the core, just getting money out of them, and this is the thin ass crust of a game that we have. Cheers.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what they fucking go for, that, which shouldn't be that way. It should be build the game first, and that's what happened to you.
That tastes funny.
Did you get laced with hamster piss?
That tastes old. How does that taste old? That was weird.
Oh,
But
Go on.
yeah, no, it's like make the game first, then put the microtransactions in afterwards. Like once you figured that the game can stand on its own without needing transactions. Someone's smoking that dank outside. That's really good. But no, it, because like what, technically speaking, League of Legends would count as a live service game.
yeah,
No,
and it
because
does well.
yeah, because
Yeah.
the microtransactions and shit like that.
hmm
Yeah, but the thing is that that had a game built first, and everything else is just like cosmetic shit, as opposed to
Mhm.
something that it's like, hey, buy this to be able to play the fucking game because now your stats are improved, or now you're actually getting something that you fucking need to progress something that should have already fucking been able to progress on its own.
Mm-hmm.
hmm
I don't know. It's gonna take a really big update to fucking fix this shit.
I
Yeah,
mean,
do like
the
that.
article talks about it as if like this is the next coming of Final Fantasy 14 because it mentions that Final Fantasy 14 was a failure and then it brought itself up. Same thing with No Man's Sky that it brought itself back up, and I'm just
But
like,
here's the thing.
eh.
Here's the thing. That it's very understandable to kind of say that, but No Man's Sky was, what was it? It was a lot of Anthem and a lot of Fallout 76. A lot of promises that were given from the developer off the get, and then they instantly had to just backpedal on everything because they couldn't give that. But they learned from all the shit that they were given, and they have actually been, just hemorrhaging fucking content and content and content fixes, things that they said that were going to be in the game already. They're actually putting it in there. Platinum Games seem, not to shit on them, but they don't seem like the kind of company to actually fucking do this full revamp and do a fucking a Realm Reborn type of thing for this fucking game.
Mm-hmm.
hmm
They're very just like kind of one offs. They're very high octane games, but it's just like you take a shot of adrenaline and there you go. That's your platinum game. Revengeance, fucking Vanquish, Bayonetta.
Well, I mean,
Ninja
there still just comes down to money. Is do they want to keep on investing the time and the money to continue trying to develop this game better, like coming up with updates? Because
Honestly, probably
that's what
fucking
happened.
not.
That's what happened with Anthem. Because Bioware, who would have thought that Bioware would have dropped Anthem so harshly? Because they honestly said it's not worth pursuing
And
updating it
that's a smart
financially.
fucking move because here's the thing, the difference between the other platinum games is what we had said already. That it's a full-fledged fucking game. This is microtransactions with the game built into it. The other one is just a game that's a game. And if there's any fucking, oh, let's just get a Bayonetta hairsuit, then yeah, that's a just fucking microtransaction just cuz. Platinum games shouldn't do a live service game. They should just stick to what they know already
Stick
with
to what they know.
their blood pumping shit. Yeah, no, for sure. Because there's nothing wrong with trying to change up your fucking image and whatever the case, but you definitely got to learn where to fucking stop. And if this is not going to do anything for you, just put it down. Take it out back and boom, old yeller it. That's it.
Stop. Get some help.
Yeah.
Kevin,
Stop it.
what about you?
BioWare was
Uh,
smart in just dropping Anthem, honestly. The
Okay,
fucking
so
best decision they've
Stick
made for a
stick
long
with
ass
Mass
time.
Effect.
Not even fucking Andromeda was a mistake. Like
Mm.
I've seen Moist Critical play majority of the game.
What'd you think?
I was disappointed. The game looked fun, but it was only 4 people when he played on, and this was live. It was 3 people. It was 3 including himself in a party, and then it was just one random guy in the game for like hours, and I was like, "This is bad." The game. I didn't like the gameplay. It seemed fast for no reason. Like when it should have just been like like Final Fantasy, like combat, like QWASD, whatever the fuck it is to do the moves and whatever. I
Mm-hmm.
felt like it should have been that. It was fast paced for no reason, and sometimes you finish fights in like 10 seconds, and then it's like, oh, you get a platinum for not taking any damage or dying or whatever. Yeah, yeah, and it was the game looked very fast for no reason, and I I honestly was confused with the microtransaction, and I was like, why? It doesn't make sense
That's
in
what the
this type
live
of game.
service does. That's the only way they could make some money in order to continue the actual live service.
Yeah, but then the moment you get over the adrenaline rush, there's nothing else in the game.
Mm-hmm.
Like it felt like the game was just
Hmm.
it was like you go on a mission, you go to a certain area, you kill a bunch of people, you go to the next fight, you go figure something out, and then you go to another area, fight, and it was just the same.
You
It
know
was
what
like
it sounds
playing
like?
uh,
A boneless Muso game.
a bone. It's a boneless Muso game that you fucking go to you kill a group of enemies, you go to the next room, there's more enemies. That's all it
Mm.
is. That's it.
And Muso games are mindless, so just keep that in mind. Like the Warrior series, it's literal just unga
Take that,
bunga hit shit. To make
take
that
that,
boring,
take that, and then just nuke
See,
all enjoyment from that game.
Muso
And that's
Muso
what
games, at least you know what you're getting into. Like you know what you expect in a Muso game. Like
oh yeah, your
anything that's
expectations
labeled live service, I compare it to an MMO. Like I expect RPG elements, I expect deep customization, weapons, armor, stats, specs, perks, just a lot of shit like that. Big maps or nice graphics, just the whole shit like that, and
great voice acting or decent voice acting.
decent voice acting. Like,
fuck you, I don't. Yeah,
but
I
anyways,
don't know.
maybe that's for like a AAA service game. But regardless, a service game in general, like I compare it to MMO, like just the bare minimum is that it should have like deep elements into the game. And if
see,
if
but
you're
then
saying
there's
it's
also
But it doesn't matter. I mean, a live service game is a game that keeps you involved no matter what. It's
yeah,
not. It's not just RPG elements. I mean, majority of the live service games are RPG elements, but League of Legends is not an RPG game.
League-
Nothing to that. It's not.
technically,
It's no strategy.
technically,
It's a strategy. It's a strategy fucking
but you
game.
are taking a character and you are like doing shit to her stats and whatnot.
yeah.
It is an RPG technically speaking.
You just start over after
No,
every
you don't.
run.
You don't. Depending what character. I mean, you pick the flame guy who
Yeah.
throws shit. You don't really pick
You pick
anything.
your build, you pick your items, you pick the items that have certain passives, the ones
At
that
the
will
end of it,
benefit you more.
at the end
You
of
could do the
at the
same
end of
build
at
throughout
the
most
end of
of
the
them, but
level,
the thing is that there's
you have
still,
all the
you know,
stat. I mean, all the abilities. It's only like 3 abilities every character gets. 4 with the
four.
ult. 4 with the ult. But at
Yeah,
the
but
end
then
of it,
there's also
at the
different
end, it's
like
all maxed out. But
no, but then there's also different items that could benefit you. Like example, I play Malzahar, who he's only AP, solid mage, yet I still build an AD item on him, not for the attack damage boost, but because of the passive of the item. That whenever I get a kill or assist, I get 20% of my ult refunded back to me. So I
That
have
sounds
like
RPG to me.
yeah, it's
I guess in
Yeah.
some sense.
so it's a skill cooldown that's
Yeah.
fucking on steroids, and honestly, it's cancerous to fucking play it like that. Before you continue your statement, I just want to express my utter disappointment in Square for having it been part of Babylon's Fall.
Mm-hmm.
It's Platinum and Square Enix,
Mm-hmm.
Oh my
and
god.
if honestly, Square has been on some shit lately. If
Yeah.
it's not like the big titles that they're actually known for, like
Well, that's why they
Square,
sold.
see, no, but SquareSoft, Square when they were SquareSoft, they did a lot of like different things back then, but everything worked. Like the majority of it fucking landed. Like they threw a bunch of shit at the wall. Most of it stuck, with the occasional like 1 or 2 games that were like, maybe this is like a cult game. Now it's what it's Final Fantasy, the one game I can't say. Uh, what else do they have going for them? Oh, fucking Nier as a series, they have that.
Mm-hmm.
It's like
World
the
Ends with You for me personally. But that one's one of those cult games that like again, I thoroughly enjoyed it. You guys not so much. That's one of those. It didn't really stick to the wall, but it was there. But then they have shit that they also released like Left Alive. You know that game?
yeah.
No.
No,
I was
no,
waiting for that game.
exactly. It's like fucking look it up. You're gonna see that the art looks very Metal Gear, but it's fucking dumb. It is a terrible, terrible game. Horrible stealth. It doesn't work as a fucking game, and it's a Square game, and it's like, what the fuck are they doing?
It's like the spectrum of throwing shit at the wall and sticking went from oh yeah we're gonna have 1 or 2 duds to yeah oh yeah we're gonna have 1 or 2 good
Oh
games.
yeah, the bouncer too. Where it just says the bouncer also.
Yeah. The bouncer. Oh my god.
So
Oh yeah,
Danny,
but that was back then.
My opinion
What
on
were your
live
thoughts? Yeah.
service games is that there will always be live service games as long as we have
Money.
Xbox Game Pass and PlayStation Game Pass. Because
Plus,
live whatever you want to call it. Live service games is what's gonna drive people to keep. And all you need is one or two for the genre. Like Destiny for shooter or Call of Duty or whatever. Because Call of Duty is technically live service. You know, like now they are anyway. They weren't before back in my day, but but now they are. Like they're purely live service games, and as long as you have Xbox type path to try to make money, then they're gonna have live service games because those are the money. That's where they make their money from. You know, you constantly not wanting to stop paying monthly for their service because you like to play their live service game for a really long time because you have a nice investment into it. And again, you just need one genre for everybody. You need one for the people who love playing first person games, one for the MMORPGs, one for the whatever the fuck you want to call League of Legends strategy type thing. One for
MOBA.
for the people who want to fucking see pizza delivery guy. You know, like as long as they have, they're gonna have to try to figure out ways. Yes, right now, people think I think it's a fad to think that live service games easy to make, and people are realizing it because there are so many live service games that have been coming out that people know what they like now. You know, Destiny didn't become Destiny overnight. It took a long time of becoming what it is for people to fucking want to play it. Final Fantasy 14 didn't become Final Fantasy 14 overnight. It took a whole revamp for it to become the perfect live service that it is now. People think it's really easy just to come out with a new anthem and just come swing out the box, but it don't. It takes a lot of effort and money into
Well,
doing
No
so.
one, no one's saying it's hard or easy. I mean, the main question is
No, but
that do you
I
think
think
that people
they
are not putting
change.
any care or love or consideration into these live service games
Yes, that's what I'm
nowadays?
saying.
That's why they're failing.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm saying that they're not putting. They're thinking they're automatically. Oh, it's a live service game. It'll get better. Don't worry. Yeah, we'll just put it out the way it is now. Don't worry about it. It's eventually gonna build itself. But then it bombs, and then they're not able to sustain the money to
Mm-hmm.
eventually make it as good as it wants to. And I think they're learning that now and having to be really, and they're gonna be more strategic on it when it comes to the next actual live service game, like the big ones. I'm not talking about these smaller ones that come out. Like, I'm sorry, but that Babylon Falls was not promoted properly. They knew. I don't think they thought it was going to be the next big fucking thing. You know, otherwise they would have promoted it more and they would have put more effort into it.
can I ask you guys an honest question? Have you
Go
guys
ahead.
seen any fucking Babylon Fall trailers?
Yeah,
I've seen a bunch of gameplay
I've seen
and
a few.
stuff.
I've never seen a trailer for the game.
They had gameplay. They had gameplay trailers. IGN.
No. I understand that, but I'm saying I've never seen a trailer for Babylon Fall. I've only seen like I wouldn't say I've never.
You
seen
mean
it.
like
I've,
marketing wise, like whenever you're just like watching TV and stuff?
Yeah, or like YouTube or something like that.
Yeah.
I've never seen one.
I have.
And it's been
That's strange.
I've never seen it.
I did on YouTube and everything. That's
Mm-hmm.
after the game came out.
No, I've seen it like I would say I've seen one commercial about, and it wasn't even like anything but just like like they were just talking about this, like it was like a cinematic, and then they were just like Babylon Falls. I was like, oh shit, that game's coming out. Like that's all it was, and it was a week before the game came out, and I was like, this doesn't make sense. I've never even heard of this game. And then when I watched the video of Charlie play it confused me because I was like, what fucking game is this? And then he said, and I was like, oh, yeah, I forgot about that game. It's so to me. I feel like every company is doing the Final Fantasy 14 thing and like just throw it out as is, and then we'll fix it later, and then they never fix it. And
Well,
it's
and
just
that's the thing. I think that's part of the. I think it's the laziness of it, and they're learning they can't do. You can't just
yeah.
throw it out there and hope they can fix it later with time with patches, and DLC that's gonna make it fucking perfect eventually. And I think they're learning that they have when they create a game, they have to give
A full game.
a lot. They have to give a full game, and they have to give a lot out the gate. Otherwise, it's gonna bomb. You know, I can't
At
actually think
least,
of like the next live service game that's being announced that we're looking forward to. But
yeah.
Yeah.
time will tell.
I just completely forgot my thought. Go ahead.
Randy, you have any final thoughts before we start wrapping up?
Square Enix is letting me down.
Square Enix.
I put it in chat that they also did Mind Jack.
Yeah.
That was a fucking flop as well.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have faith for Babylon's Fall. I don't have faith for Babylon's Rise. Oh, hey, there you go. Hire me, Kotaku.
Yeah, I don't see live service games going anywhere. I think they'll change if anything, but I don't see them going anywhere. They'll make adjustments to how things are done, and hopefully they'll follow how Danny's explaining it, is that people now are learning what they like and what they disagree with, because I think people now are kind of noticing the industry is kind of half-assing a lot of games nowadays. Like leaving a lot of games unfinished and kind of just like fix it later type of mentality. And I think a lot of people now are kind of having a lot of people are kind of fed up about it now, and it's now being voiced a lot more often. So hopefully games in the future, live service games in particular, they become full games before they're released, and then they can continue from there.
I just remembered my thought now. I feel like if you're gonna have a live service game, at least have 95% of the game done, at least, and then you can use the 5% to fix whatever issues.
But again, like Babylon Falls, the reason why it's not that it's incomplete, it's that it's bad. It's different.
I agree. I agree.
Same thing for Anthem. Anthem
but
wasn't.
It's bad
Anthem
because it's an
incomplete.
empty shell of a game, meaning like there was no thought or love put into it. So yeah, you're right. You could consider it a finished game.
Anthem was like there was a lot of premise to that game. There was a lot.
Anthem was not a finished game though.
Yeah, it was. You got
no, it was not.
Everything. You had a great story. Not great. You had maybe they didn't have a finished story, but it had its story. It had its ending. It had its ability to start making and gain contact. It's just
the game was so rushed that it was broken, glitches, the looting system was off, oh my god, the combat system was off. Like they had to do so many nerfs and buffs and tweaks and changes, and it was like a patch every freaking week when that game came out.
The thing is, when people say a finished game, I'm like, I don't believe it, because updates exist and updates fix bugs. If it is a complete game, why do we need an update? And I feel like that's a dumb reason.
Yeah, because
yes, the game. Yes, you can play the game. You can definitely play Anthem the way it was in day one. But there was not, number one, there was not much to do, and like I said, the loot system was off, the percentages were off, the drop rates and everything. Like, and it was a mess of a game because they didn't put enough thought into finishing everything first. They put it all out first because a lot of people just wanted the game, and BioWare just said, "Fuck it, we'll fix it later," because it's a service game. It'll get better as we go along. We promise you, the future stuff that comes out, you won't be disappointed. The story is amazing, and we're gonna fix the loot system and all this and that. And they eventually did, little by little by little. Like they fucking drip fed you all the new updates, and it wasn't enough for people. People weren't happy.
But that's my point. The game was finished, and then it needed more afterwards, right? Like what's the fucking one that's finally coming out with a new?
If the game needed more day one, then it wasn't finished.
No, it had enough. It had enough to last for day one. You could beat the game, start playing the end game contact, and try to get loot. Yes, the loot system was a little fucked up, but that's really hard to get down pat in any game. It's always tons. I feel like there's always tons of tweaks for fucking the amount of loot the war drops. I feel like there's a lot. Anyway, but the game didn't have anywhere to go after you did the campaign content for a few months, and then you were done. You needed that next good expansion to get you going for 6 months, and it stopped.
Okay.
It didn't have that at all. That's
So I
when it
have
fucking died because it never went anywhere after that.
I have a
You know,
question. So what? How do you define? Because it's something that relates to Babylon Falls. How do
because
you define?
Babylon, I think that's what I'm saying. Babylon is not a good game from jump. It's just
No, no, no.
fast.
I
It's not a fun game to play from beginning to its ending, and
no, no, no.
that's the big
I,
problem with Babylon.
I agree with that. But what I'm saying is, how do you define water combat?
What
Because that's
combat?
something that I've water, like in water combat.
I don't know.
I don't know what you
You would
mean.
expect your character. Okay, so in Mario,
Like
right? You know,
Aquaman,
like Mario 64, like in Mario, right? You know when you're swimming, that
you
your
play
character
Aquaman.
like goes up and down, up and
Mhm.
down, and it's like it's very
Yeah,
like slow.
yeah.
In Babylon Fall, there's in Babylon Fall or fell or face planted or dropped. um, there's an instance that you have water combat, and this is when I knew the game was not finished. Because the water combat is the same as if you were on fucking land, and that doesn't make sense to me. I
Really?
expected
No
your character to jump.
physics. No water
No
I
physics. Like
physics.
no, what if
I,
it's this funny?
yeah, and I expected it to be like, oh, your character jumps like really high, like in Metroid or something. You know, like some kind of
Yeah,
like
See, and
the
that
sure
that's my
nuance.
point. You could have all the assets and all the gameplay in there. It still doesn't make it a finished game because you still didn't put any thought into it. You just
No, but
threw
then
everything.
yeah,
You threw everything on there and watched everything stick. And you're like, all right, let's just do that, and then we'll throw the rest onto the wall later.
but
And
but I
uh-huh.
don't think Anthem was a finished game in its
I don't think
beginning.
so.
It was because we had when we were playing it, we were like, "Oh man, I can do this. I can do this." You know, this setup, and I want to be lava, lightning, whatever it is. Like we were excited while playing the game. It was only until
Of
at the very
course, because
end,
we wanted that game badly. We wanted that
yeah,
game to
but
succeed
it wasn't.
badly.
But it wasn't until the very end after you beat it, and then you're playing the end game, and then you're like, okay, now what?
How long did it take for us to beat the campaign?
I don't remember. It was a short It was a short campaign. Yeah.
So I rough estimate, it took about a week or two to finish the campaign. So
Yeah.
so you're telling me that BioWare put enough thought into the game for you to be able to play this game for 2 weeks and then you could barely do anything afterwards. That doesn't sound like a finished game to me either. Especially on a, MMO-ish type of game, a live service
It's
game.
to me, a finished game is
This is just like,
Becomes
all right,
up.
exactly. Fuck, I'm gonna do this again. Just like Destiny, like D1. Destiny 1 was a very unfinished game. And granted, a lot of it wasn't their fault because a lot of the issues they had with losing writers and staff and things like that. But still, they
They should have
delivered.
unionized.
They deliver. They delivered a game that was unfinished. Even though you can play through it and play through the story, afterwards, there's barely anything to do. The story was almost non-existent for that matter. The lore was non-existent for that matter. The only thing you had to look forward to was to grind for some exotics, and there weren't even that many to begin with in the beginning. So, like, that was a very unfinished game also. Just because you could play it doesn't mean it can't be unfinished.
Can I mention a game?
Mm-hmm.
Can I bring this shit back from the dead?
House of the Dead? Oh,
No, Cyberpunk 2077 was an incomplete game.
Well, that's
Oh, of
what
course.
and that's what I see as as an
yeah.
unfinished game, and that's an extreme.
There's
Case. That's the extreme
Yeah.
case of it not being finished because there's so much not finished about that.
No, but that but
Definitely. But the game itself, but if you can't play even the campaign and get through the campaign, that to me is what the unfinished part. But if you play the game, however short they meant it to be, it's a finished game. It just doesn't have.
but
It
a
might not
live
have.
service game isn't supposed to
Yes,
be
but it
finished.
might
There's
not
supposed
have.
to be a gameplay loop involved.
oh,
Like
but
Cyberpunk is a good argument for if you can't get through the campaign, then it's not a finished game because it's a single player game. But we're talking about live service games where after you beat a campaign, if there is a campaign, after you beat it, there is a game loop involved that enables you to keep on playing the game over and over and over again to continue playing the game. Whether you have a DLC, expansion, season pass, whatever it is, whether you
Well,
buy
I can
microtransactions or
argue
not.
that like single player games also have that issue too of
Yes.
replayability or not.
Well, I know,
Because
Yeah.
not every no,
No, absolutely.
that's just me like nitpicking. Because I mean, there's
Kingdom
there's a
Hearts.
whole bunch of like, oh, updates for this, blah 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 blah. I personally, I feel this is just me. The only games that should be able to have updates are like live service games or genuine online fucking games or whatever the case.
Yes.
Mhm,
Solely
mhm.
Yes.
devoted to that. Any fucking game nowadays can have a fucking update, and that does kind of get
It's
under
an
my
issue.
skin, and that makes me feel like a lot of games are being released unfinished regardless. Back then, like PS2 era, there was no, oh, let me just update my fucking game. Let me update my Mario 64 cartridge, my Banjo-Kazooie cartridge, just to like get the most recent fucking patch or the case. No, what you got was what you fucking got,
what you
and
got, what you
that was a
got,
finished
unless it
fucking
was a
game.
game-breaking bug, and then you had to take that shit to the store to get it swapped out.
Yeah,
Can I tell you?
or some fucking soft lock or whatever the case, but like
Mhm.
it fucks your data. But that was a finished fucking game. There was no, oh, there's this little glitch that can happen. Fire Giant for Elden Ring. If
Oh yeah.
if it was way the fuck back then and people found out about that exploit, that shit would still be there regardless. There
Mhm.
would be no, oh, let's patch this thing over here.
Although they
There's
have
games that
tried
what?
multiple times.
multiple
The giant
times, they've
spawning.
the giants, the souls farming thing, the style, like they blocked some of the ways that some people are farming for souls. They've patched some things to like block the way that you shouldn't be playing the game, even though it's
Yeah,
technically
but
not breaking
that's
the game.
also that's really fucking dumb.
Yeah.
That's stupid as hell because that shouldn't be patched at all.
Mm-hmm.
If it could happen, it could already fucking happen. There's things that shouldn't be able to have like there's things that shouldn't be able to be done but are already going to be done regardless. One example, Sonic Boom, the fucking really shitty Sonic game that was released on
Oh yeah.
Christmas,
Yeah.
right? There's an infinite jump glitch with
The
Knuckles
knuckle
that
glitch.
if
The
you
knuckle
do a
glitch.
double jump and when he's facing down, you pause the game. You unpause it, you could double jump again, and you pause it again, and you just keep on doing that to infinitely go like up and up and up and up and up, right?
And you can
But
break the thing.
yeah, they're not gonna fucking patch that shit. People weren't supposed to fucking who's gonna find that glitch deliberately? Like, oh, what if I jump and then I pause and no, it just fucking happened to be there. Oh well, it wasn't meant to be done, but it can be done. So big fucking deal.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. I
Oh,
seen somebody beat.
so we're releasing the Knuckles patch on Sonic Boom because we found out that people no fucking get the fuck out of here with that shit. Just you released your game. That was that.
I've seen somebody beat the entire Sonic Boom game as Knuckles. It was
Fucking
interesting
jump.
watching it. Yeah, but that's what I was saying before. And then like the update that you would get from like the games back in the day is just like a new version of the game, and you'll have to pay $60 or whatever amount of money to get the game like Kingdom Hearts 2 and then Final Mix. That's a completely it's the same game just updated slightly, and
I
then
mean,
it's like certain changes.
but going back with Anthem too, like it was unfinished because we finished the campaign, and yes, me and Danny, like we were both excited about like what we can do with our builds and stuff like that.
Mhm.
And the builds were actually pretty nice and stuff. But the thing is that there wasn't anything to do with those builds because the game there still wasn't anything to do afterwards, like the end game stuff. There was nothing to do, and we had to wait for like a large update in order for them to like add like difficulties, change the loot system, also add certain public events and stuff like that. And there was this one big event that was supposed to like change everything into the
This game
game,
wasn't that good.
and it wasn't that good either.
Destroying the
That
world?
was a fail also. It was like a storm tornado thing, whatever it is, that's part of the story.
And that's what I
Garuda?
think. It was fun, but it was like something. It was an event you do once, and that's it.
Yeah,
And it was a long. It
and
was a long. event,
that
it was
didn't
long
happen for
parade,
quite a
but
while though. So, but my point is the beginning, the first time that we played the game was unfinished because there was no game loop. There was nothing to do after you finish the campaign. We literally played for a couple hours trying to find stuff to do, and we kind of like tried to push through, and then we dropped the game. We stopped playing it. We ended up doing, I think it was what was that other service game that we love to play? The third person shooter.
Starts with a D.
Always forget it. I always forget the name.
the one that I didn't.
The horror one. with the
Remnant.
monsters. Remnant, yes, we ended up playing Remnant after that. Like, just like we just jumped back into that, and we were just like, yeah, there's nothing to do with Anthem. And every time there was an update, I'll be like, yo, Danny, there's an update. Let's go check it out. And I'll check it out. Still nothing much. Still nothing much of anything. And then I just gave up on the game afterwards. The game was not finished. They could have everything that they added into the game after the game was a failure. They could have waited to add all that stuff like throughout its game development before they actually decided to release it. But again, just like usual, the companies fall into pressure, and they're like, well, we need to release this thing quick now because it's so hot right now. Everyone is like crazy for this game. We have to get it out there now. It'll be okay. We'll fix it. We'll put microtransactions in. We'll make some money, and then we'll fix the game as we go along. And they didn't turn out that way.
I feel like back in the days, the game used to be 85% finished, which was it was still playable. There was some glitches, but you get what you get. Now I feel like it's 65, maybe 55.
Yeah.
No, I would say 65. 65 feels right about the games coming out, and then the updates is what they fix. And their fixes are more like surface level shit. Like it's the things that it's like everybody sees but nobody cares about. And then it's like they're not fixing like the gameplay or anything or changing anything about it. They're keeping it the same. And that's something that I have an issue with because I mainly play single player or like RPGs now. I don't play fighting games as much. And I realize that like some of the games I've played are like unfinished just because of balancing issues, and that's something that I'm okay with because it's like it's not an exploit. But when you like release a game that I'm paying for and then I'm paying for to play online, I feel like I deserve, or I sound entitled, but I deserve a finished game at least. Like I need to play something. I need it to be at least. It's playable to a sense, but it's not complete in the sense of I don't feel complete playing it. It just feels
It's like one of those unwritten rules of like how or what you expect the game should have. Like in a fighting game, you expect to have certain things in the fighting game in order for you to continue playing that game. In a live service game or an MMO, there's certain elements in the game that have to be in the game in order to be considered a finished game in order for you to continue to play it over and over and over and enjoy it. So like a lot of those games now, a lot of those games are like 65% done nowadays because they think they'll fix it later. Huertas on chat, he asked a question, live service. He says, is there a way to know if a game is finished before purchase? The way that I see it, no, because you're just gonna have to hold out and wait until a lot of other people buy it first, and I guess read reviews, get a word of mouth, hear from other people, see what they think about the game before you hear if it's like a finished game or not. There's no way to tell. There's no way to tell unless you play the game.
You'll only know if somebody. I would say it would be best if you watch somebody play the game day one. Like I don't. I sometimes watch videos just without the person like just muting them and just watch the video and see for myself if I would enjoy the game. And if I don't, then I don't play it. Like remember Black Desert?
Yeah, they revamped that whole game too. They revamped that one.
Exactly.
And
that game.
I'm curious if it's any better.
Yeah, and I played it when it first came out, and I played it on my phone because I was like, oh shit, it's on the phone. I should play it. And it was very boring in a sense. It was a very boring game. Like you do flashy moves, and then you get bored of it in like I would say 2 hours in. And I felt like I was just doing nothing for hours. And I was like, do I have to play for like 65 hours to understand like what the game is about? And I was like, no, it just doesn't fucking matter. The game feels the same while you play it. And that was before. And now it's like Dan said, I heard that they revamped it. I heard it was a lot better. There's a shit ton of classes. But because of my first experience, I don't think I will go back to playing the game at all. And that's the thing that's going to ruin a lot of.
And that's the bottom line. Stone Cold said so.
Now, a lot of people would take live service games with their one bad experience and run with it every time they see a live service game. They're gonna shit on all of them.
I don't blame them.
They're all the same. If you fucking play Final Fantasy, or if you play this game, it's the few and far between.
All right. Well, so I'm gonna end
I will
the
bring it
episode.
tomorrow.
Huh?
You made it for tonight? All right. I got you.
Okay. I'm going to end the episode now. We're going to be running on 2 hours soon. So I appreciate everybody who was listening and watching the show today. Thank you for joining us. Don't forget to check out gamerguardians.net for game reviews that I do for the Coalition. And you can also check out all the other show episodes. You can check it out on all the podcast streaming services. And you can also see the links to Boneless Bones, Twitch, and Twitter. So in case you guys are interested in seeing him stream live, you can check that out as well and the website. Thank you guys for joining us, and we'll see you guys next week. Bye-bye.
Good night.
Later.